Haven't had it very often in a while. I appreciate the opportunity. I would like to first give a formal welcome to Mr. Olmstead and Mr. Woodson. Good to be with you this evening and look forward to working with you. Congratulations to our student athletes that we honored tonight. Can't go through the list, we've already done that, but we certainly are very proud of their achievements. Also very, very proud, as was mentioned earlier, the perfect attendance. Those students, but I'll go ahead and say, as a parent, I want to thank the parents for that, as mentioned earlier. Getting your children to school is sometimes difficult, it sometimes taxes you, makes you late to work, you have to juggle different things, but we always appreciate when parents make that extra effort. As COVID has taught us, attendance does matter, it's not just a slogan, so we really do appreciate all of our parents working extra hard to make sure that our kids are in school and they need to be. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Ms. Warren.
Yes. Happy New Year. Thank you to everyone who came out on this very cold evening. First of all, I'd like to also welcome our new members, Mr. Umstead and Mr. Woodson, to our athletes and our 200 plus students with a perfect attendance. What an accomplishment. As Mr. Eric said, I couldn't say it better myself, but it speaks to the dedication of not only the students, but their guardians, their parents, whoever's making sure that they get to school happy and healthy. We surely appreciate that. I know that Ms. Fox is very passionate about attendance and has embraced it and put some things in place that we are seeing the fruit of her labor. So thank you for that. Ms. Wolf, thank you for reading the letter on behalf of your husband. I always like to thank everybody who comes to participate in public comment. I feel like that's a very important right that everybody should exercise when they need to. And I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you for everyone who came out in the cold tonight to be here. We appreciate you. I was particularly impressed with the reception for the students with perfect attendance, over 200 students that have perfect attendance so far, and with the athletic recognitions. I did notice that there were some students that were the same in both camps. We had some athletes that had perfect attendance. I want to also welcome our new board members here. Welcome to the crew. And then I would like to say something briefly about the cell phone policy, because I became aware as we were considering all this for the last year that this is really about more than just a distraction from learning, because it obviously is. But I would encourage parents, you can go on the school's website and do some research on the data that's coming out that explains that the cell phones and social media are actually having an effect on brain development and emotional development. So I think it's if you go to our website and you want to search it, the fireside chat that was live streamed on September 6th has a lot of great information. It has some authors and some access to that sort of data. Lynn, thank you for coming out. Appreciate that. And that's all for now.
Thank you, Ms. Coates. Mr. Olmstead.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. This is my first meeting. I told my wife I would not talk for more than 5 minutes combined. I think I broke that. Cindy, you're doing a good job with attendance. Please keep it up. And all the parents and parents of athletes and parents of kids have got the perfect attendance. You probably should get an award also, because most of the kids that get perfect attendance and athletes don't have rides. You have to bring them. As a coach here, I appreciated the parents that brought their kids and entrusted them to me. Now we've got to find a way to convince parents to entrust us with their kids' education. I'm reading a book by Dr. Heiser, whatever his name is, talking about cell phones. I'm 100% behind cell phone no usage from bell to bell. It's just not the academics. It's the mental, emotional well-being that we're stifling in our own kids. Used to take an athletic bus to go to Liberty for a track meet. Told them they couldn't use their cell phones on the way. They had talked to each other. They were all mad, but they still did it. On the way home, they could use them all they wanted to, but they just fell asleep. Kids need our guidance to make decisions. The cell phone to me is very important. I have a granddaughter at middle school. Her mother took her off. Her grades improved, her attitude improved, her mental well-being improved. And the thing I hear the most, that bothers me the most about cell phones, you can stand right over them, and they can still send a bullying message. I can send a bullying message to John, and you can be standing right behind me. You'd never see it. Bullying's on my hit list for the top 5 issues we have. We got to deal with them. We've got to deal with them. Important miscommunication between parents, school systems has got to end. I want to hear both parties tell exactly the same story. Doesn't seem to be happening very often. Again, thank you for coming. Tell your friends, come and enjoy it. We're going to get better at this. Kids are going to get better. And the last thing, I saw SOL scores from last year, not overly whelmed. Cell phones didn't help us then, maybe they'll help us to take them away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olmsted. Mr. Woodson.
Yes, sir. I'd like to say that I'm honored to be here. I know replacing, or following up, I should say, you never replace Miss Marie. But following Miss Marie, there's a lot of pressure. I was fortunate enough to be on the board in Covington with her, and she always leaves a big hole to fill. So I wanted to start with that. I'm honored to be with you guys. I appreciate being here very much. Just a couple items. Won't mention them all, just a few today, I guess. But a couple things. One, we talked. We heard about the aftermath of an incident that started with an altercation at the middle school between 2 students. I think Mr. Olmsted touched on that a bit. Typically fights such as those start with some type of bullying or something of that nature. And one thing I had mentioned when I announced that I planned on running was character education. I think it can start to be doubled down on with the board. One thing I'd like the board to consider moving forward is perhaps having a guest pastor open up our meetings each month. It's a practice that the Covington City Council does successfully, and it works well. The other thing I'd like to suggest is perhaps having a poster of the 10 Commandments posted at each entranceway to the school, to each school. We should expect our student athletes or anyone participating in any extracurricular activity, the way I see it, and I know some of our coaches do this already, so this isn't new. This is a practice that has been in place. You earn that opportunity to participate in those type of activities with good grades and good behavior. Too often I'm walking through the schools. I have a daughter in high school. She was at middle school last year. Right? Too often I see students referring to a teacher by the teacher's last name, or a coach by the coach's last name. I think we're doing our students an injustice by this. I'm involved quite often in interviews and hiring process, and the individuals that have manners, know how to communicate well with adults, and usually do very well in those interviews, right? So I'm asking for us as a board to figure out how we support our educators more in this arena. I think it's a point of reference and focus that we need to have, and we have to be purposeful about that activity. So that's one of the items. The other item, I think you guys mentioned recently about adding a student rep from Alleghany high school. I think that's something that we ought to figure out how to make that happen soon. I know you guys used to do that. I always envied that from a Covington perspective. We didn't do that. I thought that was a good thing that we should have adopted, and I think it's something we as a joint board ought to adopt. The other thing is I very much enjoyed our time that we got to spend with individuals at the central office. We didn't get to finish. I know the weather kind of has thrown us a bit of a curveball, and everyone's gainfully employed and busy. But first opportunity that we get to finish that, I sure would like to do it. I know I missed several folks that are in the room today, and I want to spend some time with them as well.
Absolutely.
And I owe Mr. Ross some more time because we didn't get to finish, but we'll finish later on. But I would like to figure out a schedule that works. Not only that, but also you had offered up the opportunity perhaps for us to get to visit the schools. Like, again, I understand completely the weather, so by all means don't see this as a rush or any of that thing, but when we do have time, I'd love the opportunity to finish that. And I think that's all for tonight. Thank you, I appreciate being here, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Woods. Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Francis.
First thing I want to do is welcome everybody this warm, balmy night. I know you appreciate coming out of here. We appreciate you coming out. It takes the effort to come out when it's this cold. We thank you for that. I also want to welcome Lumstead, board members, and my prayer is that God will give you guys wisdom and desire to make this a better world, make this a better school system. That's what we're all here for, is to improve our school system, give more opportunities for our kids. That's what this is all about, is the kids. Also want to thank all the people who were involved in the gas incident, who helped in. That's why they call us a community. It's a family. We're all in this together. Okay? It's not a Covington issue again. It's not an Alleghany issue. It's our issue. And when we have an issue, we step on that. That's awesome. I want to congratulate our perfect attendance people, kids, young adults, as you say, kiddos. I want to congratulate them for being to come to school and their parents, which is right. Most kids are not going to come just because they love that go from going to school. There's somebody pushing them out that door. And we appreciate that. Also, the athletics, the sports people here. It's actually good to see not only athletes here who are performing well, but also students who are performing well. Again, that's why we're in this. Okay? The ACH, BMI program, it does my heart good to see those things going on. We see one every month. Every month we see a program that the teachers are doing. It helps keep the kids engaged and learn more. That's what we're here for. Ms. Wolf, sometimes it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to get up in front of you and talk. Okay? Just know that we listen. Okay? Don't go in depth in this. Sometimes, a lot of times, we can't do it as a board. We can't do anything about that. But the people who are here to teach, okay, the administrators and principals, one more here. Can't even read my own writing, that's my thing. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all for all y'all do. Thank you, staff, administrators, bus drivers, teachers. I just don't know if everybody can realizes how much time and effort they're putting in to teach our kids, and protect our kids. And I think hiring Mr. Fisher was a great thing. He made a lot of comments, like the true police officer. You know, here's what we did, this is what we could do better, and we're gonna learn from that. And all of us need to learn from our mistakes. I think when Sunday school was teaching, there's two ways to learn something. Right? Number one, you can learn by somebody else's experience, and number two, you can learn by your own experience. Your own hard knocks is not the best way to learn. Well, sometimes that's how we have to learn. But I just want to thank everybody, okay? Thank you for the job you do, the effort you put in. It's heartwarming. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Franson. Superintendent Holton.
Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to be here tonight, and I agree, it's also very balmy outside. So we really appreciate people coming out on an evening like this evening. No matter what your purpose is here tonight, if you're here because you were invited for an honor, you wanted to speak, you wanted to listen, you wanted to participate in any way, we're really glad to see you. And it's nice to have a crowd, particularly when it's a little bit chilly outside. I join in all the thanks. Belinda joins in all those thanks too. We're excited about our fall sports track record. We're excited about our students with perfect attendance. Attendance is a more complicated issue than sometimes meets the eye, and I know Ms. Fox can attest to that. And to have 200 of our students, more than 200 of our students, have perfect attendance in the first semester is really a testament to a lot of people's hard work. So thank you all for echoing that, because you're right, it's parents, it's staff, it's the whole community, it's the kiddos themselves taking care of that. We're also really excited to have been able to talk about preschool tonight. I think you all know that both of us spent a fair amount of our time in early childhood in our teaching careers, so it's near and dear to our heart. So it's lovely to hear from preschool tonight, so thank you for coming out for us. And we want to second on the thank yous for all the disruptions recently. And I think sometimes people might think that what those of us in various leadership roles do is kind of orchestrate all of the details when those kind of disruptions are happening. And that's really not an accurate perception. We certainly support and we certainly make some of those key decisions, but it's all kinds of people who carry them out. And that is a great example at Covington Middle School the other day. It's a fabulous example of that. And you all were mentioning how hard people are working. A quick example of this, and it is certainly not the only example, is our bus drivers figuring all that out. We've been talking recently about, do we need a snow route? What do we need to do? And one of the miracles of technology, because I know we spoke about some of its ills this evening, but it also has some benefits. They have what we call a Google chat group, and it's amazing to see what happens in that group to get our kids to school and just how committed they are to that. I wrote myself a couple notes that I'm also having trouble reading, Mr. Franson, so you're not alone tonight. I wanted to make sure that, again, reminding everybody to please check our Facebook page. You can do that without a Facebook account. It's set to public. So Daryl does a fabulous job keeping all kinds of interesting things on that Facebook page. And everyone, as we get ready for February and those two key observances of Black History Month and CTE Month, just want to remind members of the board there are a couple of CTE-related opportunities that are actually in January. And we know everybody's schedule has been really disrupted lately, and we certainly understand that. But if you are able to attend those, let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you. And I believe I've read all my handwriting now, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Holton. I want to thank everybody else for coming here tonight. I can reiterate what basically everybody else has said. I won't make it very long, but I want to thank everybody that's here. I want to thank all the parents for pushing their children. Thank our community. Thank everybody that's involved. It takes the village, it really does. And I also want to say thank Mr. Woodson and Mr. Olmsted for being on this board, and also want to thank Mr. Woodson for bringing up the student rep thing. That's something I've kind of completely forgotten about since consolidation, because it's just been very busy. But yes, I would agree. I'd like to get student rep back on this board so we can get input from our students. That's always great, because that's who we're here to do. We're here to serve them, their community. Thank you all for coming. And now we will go into closed session.